Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, your one stop for the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilchi and here are the headlines. All-party meeting ahead of the budget session is held. Prime Minister appeals for smooth conduct of proceedings. Opposition cautions against any announcements that could influence voters. Bigwigs of various parties hold election rallies across the 5 election-bound states. BJP President Amit Shah and BSP Chief Mayawati address gatherings in Punjab. Six killed and 8 people injured after gunmen opened fire at Quebec City mosque. 2 suspects are arrested. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calls it a terrorist attack. And Supreme Court appoints former CAG Vinod Rai as the head of BCCI. Noted historian Ramachandra Guha, former cricketer Diana Edelji and IDFC official Vikram Libai is appointed as members. Our top story: a day before the budget session of Parliament begins, the government called an all-party meeting to discuss issues that will come up. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the opposition to allow the House to function smoothly despite any differences that they might have with the government. The opposition in turn warned the government against announcing any schemes that could influence voters in the 5 poll-bound states.
Opposition parties put on record their differences with the government on tabling the union budget on February 1st. They raised 2 points: the forthcoming elections in 5 states and that the economic data for the third quarter would not be factored into the document. At the all-party meet, opposition leaders were united in questioning the timing of the budget presentation, even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked for Parliament to rise above party lines and come forward for discussion on various issues.
सबका एक ही राय था, हाउस चलना चाहिए, सदन चलना चाहिए, बजट सत्र चलना चाहिए, दोनों पार्ट के बजट सत्र चलना चाहिए और बहस होना चाहिए.
The budget session will begin on Tuesday with the President's address. It will be followed by the tabling of the economic survey, with the budget being presented on Wednesday. The opposition warned the government against using the budget to announce schemes that could entice voters in the poll-bound states.
ऐसा कोई भी बजट में वो चीज न लाएं जिससे लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड में असर पड़े, और अगर ये ऐसा हुआ तो जाहिर है इसका असर जो है जो 8-9 दिन का हाउस में चर्चा है उस पर इसका असर पड़ेगा.
वो निश्चित रूप से वो बजट जो है वो फेल हो जाएगा अपने मकसद से, जब तक आपको अप टू डेट आंकड़े और परिस्थिति नहीं मालूम. अब डीमोनेटाइजेशन का असर जो पड़ा उसका कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं होगा इस बजट में.
The meeting was boycotted by Trinamool Congress over demonetization. The party has also decided not to attend parliament proceedings on the first 2 days. The first part of the budget session will end on February 9th, while the second part will begin on March 9th and end on April 12th. Now Vikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you some more updates from the poll-bound states. Let's start with Punjab, where BJP President Amit Shah on Monday launched a scathing attack on Congress's chief ministerial face in Punjab, Captain Amrinder Singh, saying that even though he uses captain in front of his name, he takes orders from Rahul Gandhi. While addressing an election rally in Amritsar, Shah also attacked the Aam Aadmi Party. He said that Arvind Kejriwal was dreaming of becoming the chief minister of every state he visits. He asked the electorate to vote for the SAD-BJP combined for the 3rd time, stating that the alliance's victory in Punjab was necessary for the security of the country.
आपने कैप्टन साहब को चुनने के बाद कभी अमृतसर में देखा है क्या? देखा है? पूरा अमृतसर उनको एब्सेंट एमपी कर जानता है मित्रों. एक ऐसा एमपी जिसको कभी देखा है नहीं. एमपी थे तब तक तो ठीक था, अब वो सीएम बनना चाहते हैं. मुझे मालूम नहीं, अगर सीएम बन गए तो उनको ढूंढने पंजाब की जनता को कहां जाना पड़ेगा.
Well, BSP chief Mayawati as well kick-started her party's poll campaign in Punjab with a rally in Phagwara. In her one-day election campaign, Mayawati racked up the issue of reservation once again, accusing the BJP and the RSS of conspiring to end reservation. She further added that there has been an increase in corruption in the past few years in Punjab. Escalating her attack on the ruling SAD-BJP alliance, the BSP Supremo said that the menace of drugs and unemployment still hovers over Punjab. In the 2012 Assembly elections, the BSP did not win any seats. However, it did manage to marginally increase the voting percentage from 4.13% to 4.28%.
परम पूज्य बाबा साहब डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर के अथक प्रयासों के कारण यहाँ भारतीय संविधान में शिक्षा, सरकारी नौकरियों व राजनीति आदि में जो भी आरक्षण की सुविधाएं मिली हैं, तो उन्हें भी अब यहाँ एक सोची समझी साजिश के तहत ही निष्प्रभावी बनाने व उन्हें धीरे धीरे खत्म करने का पूरा प्रयास किया जा रहा है.
Meanwhile, in Goa, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was there today to woo voters ahead of the Assembly elections on the 4th of February. Here's a look at what he said.
कि बीजेपी के लोग जो विचारधारा इनकी है, इतना गुस्सा क्यों होता है इनको? और इसका जवाब है कि ये लोग सोचते हैं कि इनको सब कुछ मालूम है. पार्लियामेंट में कभी बात होती है, उनका जवाब आता है, तुम्हें ये बात समझ नहीं आ सकती. ये सोचते हैं कि ये सब कुछ जानते हैं. और फिर होता क्या है, दुनिया चलती है, उनकी थियरी ऐसी होती है और सच्चाई दूसरी निकलती है, तो इनको गुस्सा आता है.
And in UP, filing of nominations for the fourth phase of polling began on Monday with the issuing of notification for the February 23rd election. The last date for filing the nominations is 6th of February, while 9th February is the last date for withdrawal. Scrutiny of nominations will take place on the 7th of February and counting of votes will be held on the 11th of March. A total of 12 districts, including Raebareli constituency, will be covered in the fourth phase of the crucial state assembly election, which will take place on the 25th of February. Meanwhile, Pratapgarh, Kaushambi, Allahabad, Jalayu, Jhansi, Lalitpur, Mahoba, Banda, Hamirpur, Chitrakoot and Fatehpur are the other districts going to polls in the fourth phase. UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav on Monday also targeted both the BSP and BJP at an election rally in Etah district of Uttar Pradesh, reiterating his faith in the SP Congress alliance. He said that neither the lotus symbol of the BJP nor the elephant symbol of the BSP can compete against his party's cycle symbol. Taking a dig at Mayawati, he said that her party will only end up building more elephant monuments in the state. Also criticizing the BJP government's demonetization move, he said that the decision was taken without preparation and has taken a heavy toll on the country's economy.
कहते हैं कि मोबाइल पे कर देंगे आप बैंकिंग, मोबाइल से कर लो बैंकिंग. मोबाइल से कैसे बैंकिंग होगी, कौन जानता है, कौन समझेगा? ब्रांचों में पैसा नहीं, बैंक पे पहुंचा नहीं पाए पैसा, और जो लाइन में लगे उन्होंने जान दे दी अपनी. पूरे देश में, उत्तर प्रदेश में भी लोग जो लाइन में खड़े थे, गरीब, इंतजार कर करके उनकी जान चली गई. कोई हार्ट अटैक से मर गया, कोई तकलीफ और परेशानी के शौक में मर गया. किसी ने मदद नहीं की. आपकी समाजवादी सरकार ने उन परिवारों की भी मदद करने का काम किया. 2-2 लाख रुपए उन परिवारों को भी दिया है.
The UP CM also spoke about his father Mulayam Singh Yadav's rejection of his party's alliance with the Congress. He said that Netaji's respect will only increase when it forms the next government in the state. On Sunday, Mulayam had said that the party was capable of winning the elections without any support. Meanwhile, the UP CM also addressed various rallies ahead of the upcoming polls.
एक बात मैं कह सकता हूं आप सबके सामने, और वो आप भी उस बात को मानेंगे. सरकार बनेगी तो सबसे ज्यादा सम्मान अगर किसी का बढ़ेगा तो नेताजी का सम्मान बढ़ेगा. बताओ किसका सम्मान बढ़ेगा? ये पार्टी बच गई, साइकिल बच गई. बताओ पार्टी बची कि नहीं बची?
Samajwadi Party has seemingly averted the crisis on the family and political fronts However, the clash between the administration and the illegal encroachers in Mathura's Jawahar Bagh that claimed around 30 lives could hurt the party the most in the run-up to the assembly polls. The opposition BJP and BSP have made the incident a major poll issue.
Mathura's Jawahar Bagh looks calm, but just on the surface. Underneath still lurk the memories of last year's clashes, when members of a religious sect squatting on the government land clashed with the police. The incident gave the opposition enough ammunition to target the ruling Samajwadi Party, accusing it of making UP a haven for the corrupt, criminals and land grabbers.
अगर विकास की सूच की सरकार आएगी तो संपूर्ण विकास होगा, मीठा पानी और कानून व्यवस्था सुदृढ़ हो, क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश में सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा है बिगड़ती कानून व्यवस्था का। आज यहाँ बहन बेटियां सुरक्षित नहीं हैं, लोगों के प्लॉट सुरक्षित नहीं हैं, लोगों की जगह सुरक्षित नहीं है।
ये एक स्क्रिप्ट करके जिस तरीके से नौटंकी की गई है वो जनता समझ रही है, क्योंकि मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के पूरे देश के लोग जानते हैं, पढ़े लिखे हैं। सर, एक अनपढ़ आदमी होता है ना, जिसको ABCD नहीं आती, लेकिन आप उसको 2000 रुपए की गड्डी दे दो तो वो उस गड्डी को गिन के बता देगा कि ये 1 लाख रुपए है। तो इतना तो जानते हैं कि स्क्रिप्ट है पूरी। तो जवाहर बाग कांड निश्चित तौर पे एक माइनस पॉइंट होगा मथुरा के लिए और इस पार्टी के लिए और आने वाले इलेक्शन के लिए।
The anger among voters is palpable. Many feel the Mathura incidents exposed flaws in the Samajwadi Party's developmental agenda.
समाजवादी पार्टी ने जो भी विकास कार्य कराया, साइकिल ट्रैक बनवाए या रोड बनवाए, वो सब इस कांड से छुप चुका है मथुरा के अंदर, और उनके खिलाफ बहुत लोगों में बहुत ज्यादा गुस्सा है और पता नहीं कि कौन वोटिंग कहाँ करेगा, लेकिन समाजवादी पार्टी के खिलाफ वोटिंग होगी, ये कंफर्म है यहाँ से।
The Samajwadi Party refutes the opposition charges of patronizing the squatters. In this year's election, the Congress will be contesting the Mathura seat after its tie-up with the Samajwadi Party.
ये जवाहर बाग कांड बहुत बड़ा कांड था, लेकिन सरकार की हमारी जो सफलता की वजह से, सरकार के मुखिया की नियत की वजह से वो जल्दी ही पटाक्षेप हो गया। कुर्बानी तो बहुत होनी थी उसमें, लेकिन 2 ही लोगों की कुर्बानी हुई, ये बहुत कुछ बच गया और मात्र आध घंटे में जवाहर बाग खाली हो गया।
It was unfortunate. Jawahar Bagh, I cannot call it to be the fault of the government, because the public of Mathura was not aware that at Jawahar Bagh so many people are living over there, because they were not disturbing the local people.
Uttar Pradesh was shaken up by the violent incidents in Jawahar Bagh on June 1st last year. Led by Ram Vriksha Yadav, armed members of Jai Gurudev cult refused to vacate 280 acres of government land they were occupying since 2014. After the courts ordered their eviction in 2016, the police tried to evict them. The squatters responded violently, killing 2 senior police officers, including the superintendent of police. The police then returned fire, killing many squatters.
These charred vehicles bring back the gory memories of the Jawahar Bagh fiasco. The Mathura incident came close on the heels of several low-intensity riots across the state. It only gave currency to the opposition parties attacking the Samajwadi Party government for being lax on the law and order issue. Mathura incident remains an open wound which might bleed in the upcoming assembly elections. Reporting from Mathura with camera person Shiv Kumar, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Alright, on to more national news. The hearing in the defamation case filed against Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has been adjourned till the 3rd of March. The case relates to his alleged remarks against the RSS in the context of Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. Last November, the Bhiwandi court had granted bail to Rahul in the case. It was filed by RSS functionary Rajesh Kunte over his speech in Bhiwandi on the 6th of March 2014.
On the outskirts of Mumbai, Rahul had claimed the RSS people.
मेरी लड़ाई विचारधारा के खिलाफ लड़ाई है, वही विचारधारा जिसने गांधी जी की हत्या की, वही विचारधारा जो गांधी जी को खादी ग्रामोद्योग के पोस्टर से हटा रही।
The Supreme Court has deferred the hearing on a bunch of petitions on the issue of judges' appointment. This after government's dismissal of a batch of petitions on judicial reforms, including appointments of judges in high courts and the Supreme Court. Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi argued that there should not be any parallel proceedings when the matter is being dealt in the administrative side. A bench comprising Chief Justice J.S. Khear and Justice N.V. Ramana said the matters have come up before it before the first time. so the court would consider them after 1 month. The government said the memorandum of procedure for appointment of judges was sent to the then CJI 6 months ago, but has not been finalized yet. The Apex Court then deferred the hearing on several petitions on the issue for a month. And here are more updates from across the country in Nationwide. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President Pranab Mukherjee and Vice President Muhammad Hamid Ansari paid tributes to Mahatma Gandhi on his 69th death anniversary at Rajghat on Monday. Congress President Sonia Gandhi was also among those who paid tributes. An inter-religious prayer meeting was organized to mark the day. On this day in 1948, Gandhiji was assassinated at a prayer meeting. The BJP has targeted former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh on the issue of loans given to Vijay Mallya. BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra said that Manmohan Singh helped Mallya get loans from Indian banks and this money was used to bail out Kingfisher Airlines. He further claimed that the bailout package could not have been processed without the insistence of the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. In Jammu and Kashmir, authorities have issued fresh avalanche warnings in Bandipora, Kupwara, Baramulla and Kargil districts after avalanche hit Aru Pahalgam region. According to officials, 25 people, including 10 soldiers, were rescued from under the snow. Meanwhile, Aru residents expressed a deep anguish against BSNL authorities for not restoring power supply and telecommunication services in the region. People living in other far-flung areas of the valley are also facing similar problems. Icy winds swept through most of North India as the cold wave intensified. Thick layers of snow covered rooftops, roads and trees in Shimla as mercury touched 2.9 degrees Celsius. According to the Met Department, the high hills will receive more snow in the next few days. Within a quick break here, up next we're getting you the big news coming in for the BCCI and also the international updates. Stay with us.
The Finance Minister will present a make-or-break budget for Modi government. Arun Jaitley faces a tough task amid frenzy on note ban and GST. Will he manage a please-all effort? Spend budget day with India's best minds. Budget 2017 with Rajya Sabha Television, 7 AM to 11 PM on February 1st.
Welcome back. Let's continue getting you more national news, and the big one is that the Supreme Court on Monday appointed former CAG Vinod Rai to head BCCI along with noted historian Ramachandra Guha, former cricketer Diana Edelji and IDFC officer Vikram Limaye as members. The court also named Amitabh Chaudhry, Anirudh Chaudhry of the BCCI and Vikram Limaye to represent BCCI at the ICC meeting in the first week of February.
In a move aimed at restructuring the country's cricket governing body, BCCI, the Supreme Court on Monday nominated 4 people as administrators to run the board. Ex-Comptroller and Auditor General Vinod Rai will head a 4-member body, which include noted historian Ramachandra Guha, IDFC Managing Director Vikram Limaye, and former captain of the Indian women's cricket team Diana Edelji.
BCCI के CEO को कहा गया है कि इनके साथ मिलके वो काम करेंगे और जिनको भी जो आपत्ति होगी दर्ज करानी होगी वो बीसीसीआई सीईओ के मार्फत से एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल में अपनी बात रखेंगे.
The Apex Court also cleared BCCI Joint Secretary Amitabh Chaudhry and Vikram Limaye to represent the board at the ICC meeting in the first week of February. The court, however, rejected the centre's plea to appoint the Secretary of the Sports Ministry as one of the administrators. The top court has asked BCCI and the centre to suggest names in its previous hearing.
It definitely will clean the BCCI completely. malfeasance has taken place, maladministration, then there has been no accountability, no responsibility, nothing in the BCCI. They would do anything that they wanted to. And hence it had become a fiefdom of a few and a cozy club for a few. So now with this panel headed by Mr. Vinod Rai, with eminent historian and cricketer himself Ramchand Guha and Daina Dilji and Vikram Limaye, they would see to it that all this is implemented.
The Supreme Court had formed the Justice Lodha Committee to bring administrative changes in the BCCI and had asked the board to implement the new norms set up by the panel. However, after seeing the BCCI's reluctance, the court in its January 2nd order removed Anurag Thakur as its president and disqualified all office bearers of the board and its state associations as they failed to comply with its orders. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now to the top international story, and 6 people were killed and 8 injured after gunmen opened fire at a Quebec City mosque in Canada. The Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, condemned the incident as a terrorist attack. 2 suspects were arrested and are being investigated on the terror charge.
Residents in the Canadian city of Quebec were left in shock on Sunday night when a deadly attack on a mosque left 6 people dead and wounded several others. The incident occurred at the Quebec Islamic Cultural Center, where gunmen fired at dozens of people who had gathered for evening prayers.
You know, people are going to be a little bit more on edge, but I'm hoping that everybody just comes together on this and you know, shows again their support for the community, because I mean that's what we need at this point in time, is to show them that we accept them, and you know, they integrate very well with the society. So again, I'm very shocked that such an incident has taken place.
It's stressful because I'm not from here, and I just can't imagine awful things like that happening in here, where I imagine most of the people are respectful about that. Seeing and hearing about that is horrifying.
The 2 suspected shooters have been arrested and authorities are treating this as a terror attack. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau condemned the shooting as a terrorist attack on Muslims and said Muslim Canadians were an important part of the country's national fabric and that such attacks had no place in the country. Mass shootings are rare in Canada, which has stricter gun laws than the United States. The news of the shooting sent shockwaves through mosques and community centers across the country. The shooting occurred a day after Trudeau said Canada would welcome refugees after US President Donald Trump suspended the US refugee program and temporarily barred citizens from 7 Muslim-majority nations from entering the country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more international news updates in Global Buzz. 3 Chinese passengers died and 6 others missing after a tourist boat sank in the rough seas off the eastern Malaysia. Meanwhile, 20 Chinese tourists and 2 of the vessel's 3 crew members were reportedly rescued and sent to a hospital. The 3rd crew member has not yet been found. The boat left Saturday morning from the Sabah state capital, Kota Kinabalu, en route for Palau Mangalore, an island known for its pristine beaches and dive sites. Tens of thousands of Romanians protested in Bucharest and other main cities. The rally comes in the wake of the government's plans to decriminalize certain offences and pardon convicts through emergency decrees that could hurt an anti-graft drive. Police said about 50,000 people took part in the rally in Bucharest, making it the biggest demonstration in a recent wave of protests. A legal advisor to Myanmar's ruling National League for Democracy was shot dead outside the country's busiest airport after returning from a government-led trip in Indonesia. An unidentified lone gunman killed the veteran lawyer, Ko Ni, and injured 2 others in front of the main terminal of Yangon International Airport. Police have detained a suspect, but the motive is so far unknown. Ko Ni was a prominent member of Myanmar's Muslim minority. Senior officials of the SAARC countries are scheduled to meet in Kathmandu this week. The meet on the 1st of February and 2nd to attend the Programming Committee will be the first meeting of SAARC member states since the postponement of the 19th SAARC summit that was supposed to take place in Islamabad in November last year. During the meeting, SAARC member states will discuss a number of issues, including the budget of the SAARC Secretariat and 5 regional centers of SAARC. That's all we have for you on the news tonight from the entire team here. Good night. We'll see you again tomorrow.